Good day everyone, my name is Sugashini Panitselvam with C22B00041 metric card number. Today I will be presenting my research titled Reinterpreting the Traditional Indian Patterns Through Contemporary Graphic Design. These studies focus on how traditional Indian patterns can be adapted into modern graphic design while preserving culture identity. Now let's look at introduction. Traditional Indian patterns represent a rich cultural heritage and carry deep symbolic meanings. However, in today's modern visual culture, many of these patterns are gradually disappearing. With the advancements of contemporary graphic design and digital technology, there are new opportunities to reinterpret these traditional patterns into a modern context. Therefore, this research explores how traditional Indian patterns can be adapted into contemporary graphic design while maintaining their cultural value. Let's look at the problem statement in my research. Despite their cultural importance, traditional Indian patterns are rarely used in contemporary graphic design. Modern design trends often prioritize global and minimal style, which reduce the presence of traditional Indian patterns and cultural elements. As a result, younger generations have limited exposure to traditional Indian patterns. In addition, there is a lack of research that focuses on integrating traditional Indian patterns with modern graphic design approaches. This research is guided by three main questions. First, how can traditional Indian patterns be reinterpreted using contemporary graphic design techniques? Second, what visual elements are important in preserving cultural identity within modern design? And third, how does digital technology influences the adoption of traditional Indian patterns in graphic design? Let's have a look on the research objectives. The studies are threefold. Firstly, to study traditional Indian patterns and understand their cultural significance. Secondly, to analyze how these patterns are currently applied in contemporary graphic design. Finally, to develop design outcomes that reinterpret traditional Indian pattern using modern graphic design techniques. This study focuses on selected traditional Indian patterns, including their forms, motifs, and meanings. The research emphasizes their application in contemporary graphic design, particularly in visual communication. The scope included literature review, case studies, and visual analysis to support the research. However, the study is limited to digital and visual design contexts, such as branding and graphic layouts. There are several limitations in this study. Firstly, the research is conducted within a limited time frame and resources. Secondly, only selected traditional Indian patterns are examined, not all available motifs. In addition, these findings may not represent all design industries. Lastly, as this study is qualitative and design-based, the results are interpretive rather than generalized. The literature review highlights several important themes. Previous studies discussed the cultural significance and symbolism of traditional Indian patterns. Other research emphasized the role of graphic design in preserving cultural heritage. Additionally, scholars highlight the importance of visual elements in contemporary design as well as the role of digital technology in reinterpreting traditional patterns. This study adopts a qualitative, design-based research methods. Data is collected through literature review, case studies, and visual analysis. These methods help in understanding both traditional Indian patterns and contemporary graphic design practices. Based on the findings, the design development process involves patterns analysis, concept development, and design experimentation using modern graphic design techniques. In conclusion, this research shows that traditional Indian patterns can be effectively reinterpreted through contemporary graphic design. Modern design approaches help preserve cultural heritage while making it relevant to today's audience. This study contributes to cultural awareness and creative innovation in graphic design. Overall, it encourages designers to integrate traditional elements into modern visual design. Thank you.